United States heading towards default. It's time for you to start preparing.
I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I ain't gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring. When I'm knocking them out, when I'm back with the win. Cause I am just up on the journey, you just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising, good evening, warriors all over the world. The U.S. heading towards a credit default. This Thursday is going to be a critical day that you need to pay attention. They either need to raise the debt ceiling, and if they do that, we need to add more debt to these books. And I'm going to show you how damaging, how unbelievably damaging that's going to be to the middle class. America, as we know it, is being challenged. I'm proud to be an American. I served my country. I built multiple companies here in America, and I've taken advantage of the freedom that it's provided me. But America, as we know it, is completely backed against the corner. The new system is blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, on-demand liquidity. And if you make the right moves right now during this time, when everybody's fearful of this new technology, it could radically change your family's life. Now, here's the thing. Most people are going to get absolutely wrecked as we head into the new bull run in 2024 through 2025. Here's why. You do not get rich during that time when everything is pumping. You get wealthy during these times, putting an exit strategy in place, being around the right people who are intelligent investors, and understanding the game so you can't be playing. When everybody's excited, you need to be selling. When everybody's fearful right now, you should be dollar cost averaging and buying. So if you need support, we've decided to do the Academy 7 days for free. We helped over 5,000 warriors since 2020, and we're counting every single day more warriors. 7 days for free to get in the game. Go through my 120-day challenge. Tons of resources in there to help you, and most of all, the community, so you can ask questions and have support. 3twarrioracademy.com, 7 days for free, so that you can see how amazing the Academy is. We're going to dive right into it, warriors. This is interesting. U.S. will hit its debt limit Thursday. Start taking steps to avoid default, Yellen warns. Okay, now we've been here multiple times. You guys remember I've reported this before, but there's a difference. As we headed into this in, I think, 2020, I think it was. Anyways, we keep hitting this debt ceiling, and I'm going to explain what they need to do. It gets worse and worse every single time. But there's an interesting dynamic. 2022, crypto was a fraud. They collapsed all these crypto exchanges. Now they're doing a false pump right now in the crypto market. Okay, first they resist it. Then they sue it. Then they regulate it. Now we're going into the join phase. And distributed ledger technology, on-demand liquidity, and moving money much faster can fix this system. They can do a debt reset that can fix the system. When you're in a debt bubble like this, there's only a couple ways you can fix it. Number one, you can stop spending. Well, they're not doing that $1.7 trillion spending bill. Number two is you can start printing more money. No, I don't think they're going to do that. Okay, it doesn't make sense. They may, who knows? That's one of their options. They can move the debt from the people that have it, the people that need it. No, they're not going to do that. Or they can do a debt restructuring. Okay. So Yellen, Treasury Secretary Yellen notified Congress that U.S. will reach its statutory debt limit next Thursday and asked House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to either suspend or increase the debt limit. Yellen wrote on the Treasury Department will begin taking certain extraordinary measures to prevent the U.S. from defaulting on its obligations. And I'm going to tell you how scary this is. Okay. Failure to meet government's obligations could cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy and the livelihood of Americans and global financial stability, Yellen says. Okay, so this is intro right here. So the Treasury is not currently stable. The Treasury is not currently stable. To estimate how long those emergency actions will allow the U.S. to pay for government obligations, she wrote. But it's unlikely the cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted before early June. She warned that it is critical that Congress act in a timely manner to increase or suspend the debt limit. They're broke. They have no money. There's no cash in the system. It's all debt. So we have to borrow more money, and I'm going to show you where that's going to come from. Failure to meet the government obligations would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy and the livelihood of Americans and global financial stability. I respectfully urge and act promptly to protect the full faith of the credit of the United States. Now, this is scary, guys, because what are government things? They're talking about the pensions of you postal workers. Okay, there's a lot of pensions out there that are being borrowed. Okay, your pensions are being traded. There's 80 trillion found caught overseas in a foreign FX trades, right? Off balance sheets, guys. This is your pensions. This is a disaster. We have so many zombie companies on the stock market right now because of the printing machine and the junk bonds that were bought. We need a reset. This is where we're at. If America was a person, they would file bankruptcy right now. Well, let me show you. Okay, so let me take a deep breath and show you what's happening. Okay, so this is Thursday. We're gonna follow this all the way through. They either need to suspend the debt limit or raise it. Okay, this is what it looks like since 1990. This is the public debt of the United States since 1990 to 2022. It's skyrocketed since the 2008 crisis. Well, ironically, at the same time, the money printing machine skyrocketed. Well, was that by design in 2008, Bitcoin's inception, going into 2009? Interesting. They print, boom. New monetary system, new technology, debt reset. Who knows? I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but we're going to take a look at this. Okay. So I want you to listen to what they say here in this interview. This was about 4 days ago. Listen to what they say. I'm going to show you who owns most of our debt and where our debt is at the United States.
Story for so many years. So I want to get your take now about this new sentiment that we seem to be seeing in Washington, thanks to the 118th Congress and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Do you think we are actually going to see the U.S. get tough on China? Not just competition. I'm talking adversary.
Yeah, I hope so. But, you know, there's a lot of resistance because China has a lot of friends in Washington, D.C. And it's not just the business community, not just the financial community, but, you know, universities, colleges, all the rest of it. The thing about this select committee, it's good that they did this.
So important what he just said, okay? China sees us as an adversary. We don't see them as an adversary. China has so many connections in America, and I'm going to show you why we don't see them as an adversary. We don't claim them as an adversary.
But the point is, we already have a Congressional Executive Commission on China. We have the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission. And really, we know everything. We just need to act. So I hope that Mike Gallagher, who's going to be the chairman of the Select Committee, moves fast.
Well, how is it possible that the CCP has been able to get, as Secretary Pompeo says, inside the gates of America? And that's what really you're seeing. They are in academia. They are in Hollywood. They are in business, global business. And that's why they have all of these, quote unquote, lobbyists for communist China across this country.
Yeah, we had this idea that if we engage with China, if we increase interdependence with China, that China would eventually become benign. But as we've seen, as it's strengthened, it's become more belligerent, more provocative, much more aggressive. And so really, during that period of integration, China was opened into the United States. And so therefore, it now has a lot of constituencies here. Wall Street, you know, Walmart, all the rest of them. And what we've got to do is we got to get them out, because if we don't, we're going to lose our country.
Part of the problem is this is about money, and people are being paid off. I mean, let's face it. You've got America's premier venture capital firm, Sequoia, with leadership at Sequoia, part of the Politburo. I mean, how is it possible that America's premier venture capital firm is arguably run by the CCP?
Well, I think it's because, you know, we have not identified China as an enemy. And we need to use that term because that's the term that China uses for us. They declared a quote unquote people's war on us in May 2019. And we Americans, we think that we are entitled to be oblivious. So we just didn't care about it. So when you have the political class saying it's okay to be run by China, then we're going to be run by China.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that. You can form your own opinion on what's happening here, but I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. So Janet Yellen says we're hitting a debt ceiling. So this is the problem. Here's how they fix it. This is what it looks like. This is the reality. And this is our national debt. As of November 2022, the federal debt held by the public is $31 trillion. Debt held by the public was estimated 96.19% of gross domestic product. Approximately 33% of public debt is owned by foreigners. We have the most foreign debt Oh, it just says right here, the United States has the largest external debt in the world. So we have the largest amount of debt outside of America. The total number of U.S. treasuries held by foreign countries in December 21 was 7.7 trillion, up to 7.1 in 2020. As of February 2022, the U.S. federal government debt breached 30 trillion mark for the first time in history, as we're heading into a debt ceiling on Thursday. So they either need to suspend it, there's no debt ceiling, or they need to raise it, or we go into complete default. Okay. So here's the list of countries by external debt. United States is number one. Look at the difference between the United States, and I know we have the largest GDP. I understand that. Okay. We're at 31 trillion. United Kingdom's at 8.7. So the fair numbers because of we're the largest GDP in the world. Okay. Gross domestic product. All right. Five countries that own the most U.S. debt. The U.S. government incurs debt when it issues treasury securities to fund the deficit between the amount of money it receives in taxes and the other revenues versus the amount of money it spends on defense, welfare programs, the interest it pays on current debt. So we're just barely paying our interest on our debt. We need money to pay our interest to these foreign countries. Okay, the Bureau of Financial Services classifies national debt in two ways: intergovernmental debt and debt held by the public. Okay. Over 3/4 of total national public debt, which includes treasury holdings by foreign countries. Japan is the largest foreign holder of U.S. government debt, owning 1.3 trillion of debt. China ranks second in U.S. total debt owned by foreign countries, with UK, Ireland, Luxembourg rounding the top five. The new total debt is 30.4 trillion as of June 23. 2022, and we just reached the debt limit. I heard China was number one, but Japan and China are number one and number two. And here's Sequoia, one of the largest venture capital firms. I think venture capital. Am I saying that correctly? Sequoia launches 500 million fund to invest in crypto tokens as Silicon Valley throws away bitcoins and blockchain. That was February 7th, 2020, and this was an interesting cool thing on this website. It says Coalition for Prosperous America, Sequoia Capital, others investing in China semiconductors. Who's investing in ours? So here we are, fam. We're in a position in America where the middle class is going to get wiped out, leveraged towards technology, pushed down to the working class and the working poor. Jerome Powell said this to you guys in 2020 and 2021. I am worried about the middle class coming back to a new economy, leverage towards technology. Okay. What he's saying is people aren't going to have time to reskill. The baby boomers who are still working, trying to pay for their medication, are going to get replaced by technology. You can see that they're pushing us into these lines that are self-checkout. Some stores are completely self-checkout. They have autonomous drivers now. Elon Musk just came out with a painting robot. They have drywall robots. In Texas, they're beta testing a McDonald's that has no workers. So the middle class needs to start to reskill, or the middle class and working class and the working class. People making $150,000 a year are starting to live paycheck to paycheck. And this is going to happen real quick, guys, because some of your parents who are, your parents, or maybe you who are in these, executive jobs, they're going to start to delayer, guys. They have to. I own multiple companies. Okay. The number one expense is employees. Okay. About 30% of our company is payroll. Think about that for a moment. I'm telling you, from a CEO's perspective, 30% is payroll. We paid almost $300,000 last year in payroll alone. Okay. So where is the company going to cut if they can't borrow anymore? Our country can't even borrow anymore. So when you can't borrow anymore, there's no salaries in the system. It's a debt-based system. So we would love to have you in the Warrior Academy, 32warrioracademy.com. So if a lot of this stuff is confusing, come into the community, dig in, dive in. Once you get in, boom, hit your 128 challenge. Get in there, learn how I retrain my brain all the way through fitness, mindset, subconscious mind programming, and then go into the resource library with Airbnb, cryptocurrency, and join the calls. Get in the community. We've had businesses built, we've had friendships built, we've had so many things completely and radically changing people's lives by joining the Warrior Academy. We're doing it 7 days for free because of the economy, fam. So many people need what we have. I'm sharing with you guys. It's changed people's lives. So we're doing it 7 days free, so you can see with your own eyes. Holy crap. This will keep me focused on what matters. I can educate myself, and I can completely shift my family's timeline. www.3twarrioracademy.com. And if you want private coaching with me as well, we have we're filling up spots fast. The class starts on February 6, 2023. That's 2 weeks away. So we're still doing interviews. I have 30 interviews this week. We're very selective. So we go through a full interview process. We've filled 5 of the spots. We have 15 spots left. We've turned down a lot of people because some people just aren't ready for that level of coaching. If you're not, though, you go into the Warrior Academy and start to build up, right? It's a high ticket, high accountability, high coaching program. So you have the Warrior Academy where it's self-paced. You can go in there with our community. There's tons of calls. It's not self-paced, but community. And then there's coaching with me, and it's really, really high level, holding on to you all the way through for 4 months into completion. So click the link down below. Everything will be there. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.